Journalists for Human Rights trains journalists to stand up for human rights in other countries, but they also do it here. They train Indigenous journalists to hold the feet of Canadian politicians and Canadian government to the fire on human rights issues. And in so doing, they show that their true commitment is to human rights itself.
This is Night for Rights. It is the most important night on the calendar to celebrate the best in human rights reporting around the world and its impact.
We have to tell the stories of people that suffer and people that are oppressed. The problem is poverty. We should stop blaming religion and stop blaming all these things. It's poverty. We have to show them that there's hope.
Strong media is the essential foundation of democracy, governance, and human rights. And that, my friends, is why Journalists for Human Rights matters. So thank you for supporting our work.
Between January 1st and December 14th, 2018, 94 journalists were killed on the job. When it becomes difficult for journalists to report on human rights, other efforts to uphold human rights are also at risk.
I think it's really important for journalists to go where people are suffering and to bring those stories to the hearts and minds of many people like ourselves who often wouldn't have an opportunity to see that.
In this atmosphere, the need for good media and in-depth coverage is rising. The need for good and objective journalism that explain issues, helps people to understand, and the most important thing, help people engage in public debates and dialogue.
Now it's my pleasure to invite none other than the great-grandson of Nelson Mandela.
The continued onslaught on human rights for the previously oppressed people in South Africa and the indigenous people in Canada attest to the fault lines that are evident in the reconciliation project in both of these countries.
JHR gives our youth a platform in ways no other media organization, no other NGO, no college or university has done to date.
The Journalists for Human Rights, in particularly the Indigenous Reporters Program, is so important because it connects the voices that you wouldn't necessarily hear to the rest of Canada, and it makes us stronger together as a country.
We know around the world the threats that journalists are facing, and as Canadians we know we need to do all we can to protect journalists.
$1,400 going once, $1,400 going twice. Sold, girl, right there.
There's no other NGO that punches as much above its weight as JHR does. Through the telling of human rights stories, through the connection with the stories of individuals on the ground, and the enabling and empowering of journalists in burgeoning democracies, JHR has the ability to truly make a difference, and it's proving that month after month.